The cloud. It's a term we hear all the time, right? It's where your photos live, where your work files are stored. It's how Netflix streams to your TV. But let's be honest, what is it really? In this explainer, we're going to break it all down and demystify it once and for all.
So let's just think about this for a second. You've got, what, thousands of photos, countless emails, all your favorite songs. I mean, your entire digital life. You know it's not all just sitting there on your phone or your computer. So where is it? Where does all that stuff actually live?
The simple answer, of course, is in the cloud. But, that answer just kind of opens up a whole new can of worms, doesn't it? All right, so let's get one thing straight right off the bat. The cloud is not some fluffy, magical thing floating up in the sky. It's not a place at all. It's actually a totally new way of doing things, a whole new way of thinking about computing. And to really get our heads around it, we need a better analogy. And honestly, the best one I've ever heard is to think of the cloud as a brand new public utility. Yeah, just like the electricity grid or the water coming out of your tap. Okay, so here's the textbook definition. Cloud computing is the on-demand delivery of all sorts of computer stuff. We're talking servers, storage, databases, software, all delivered over the internet. To put it simply, instead of buying and owning all the expensive hardware yourself, you're basically just renting it from someone else. And this really brings that utility analogy to life. Think about it. Before the cloud, a company kind of had to run its own power generator. They had to buy it, maintain it, and fuel this massive, complex, and super expensive machine. But with the cloud, it's just like plugging into the grid. You flip a switch, you use exactly what you need, and you only pay for what you use. It is, no exaggeration, a total game changer. Okay, so if the cloud is a utility, what are the rules of the road? What are the core principles that make something actually the cloud? Well, it turns out there are 5 essential rules. For something to really be cloud computing, it has to check all these boxes. First, it's got to be on-demand self-service. Think of it like a vending machine. You just walk up and get what you need, no human help required. Second, broad network access. You can get to it from anywhere, on your phone, your laptop, whatever. Third, resource pooling. This just means the provider is sharing its big pool of resources among lots of different customers, which makes everything super efficient. Number 4 is a big one, rapid elasticity. You can scale your usage up or down instantly, kind of like turning a dimmer switch on a light. And finally, number 5, it's a measured service. Just like your electric bill, you only pay for what you actually use. Now, the cloud isn't just one single thing, right? It's more like a menu of different services. And to get a handle on the options, we're going to use what is, hands down, one of the best analogies in all of tech. Pizza as a service. Okay, check this out. It really boils down to 3 main flavors. First up, you've got infrastructure as a service, or IaaS. This is like the cloud provider giving you a full kitchen with an oven. You bring your own ingredients and make the pizza completely from scratch. Then, in the middle, there's platform as a service, or PaaS. Here, they give you the pizza dough and all the toppings. All you have to do is assemble it and bake it. And finally, the one most of us use every day, software as a service, or SaaS. Think about Gmail or Netflix. You don't do any of the work. You just order the pizza and it shows up at your door ready to eat. All right, so we've got our pizza menu figured out, but where are these kitchens? Where does this stuff actually live? Well, that brings us to the 3 main ways the cloud is deployed. Let's go back to our power grid analogy for a second. The public cloud, this is your Amazons, your Microsoft Azures, that's like the main city power grid. It's absolutely massive, it's super efficient, and you share it with everybody else. A private cloud, though, is the opposite. That's like owning your very own private power generator. It's used by just one organization, so they get total control over everything. And as you've probably guessed, there's something in between. It's called a hybrid cloud, and it's pretty much what it sounds like. It connects a company's private cloud with the public cloud. So, for example, they could use the huge public grid to handle a big spike in traffic, but keep all their sensitive customer data safe and sound on their own private generator. It really is the best of both worlds. Okay, so we've got a pretty good idea of what the cloud is and how it works. But the big question is, why? Why has this model completely taken over the entire tech world? Well, it really boils down to 4 huge payoffs. First and foremost, cost. It's pretty simple. Instead of shelling out a ton of money upfront for expensive hardware, you just trade that huge capital expense for a predictable monthly operating bill. It's the difference between buying and renting. Benefit number 2 is just incredible speed. I mean, back in the day, if you needed more servers, you were looking at weeks, maybe even months of planning and paperwork and buying stuff. With the cloud, you can spin up massive amounts of computing power in minutes, literally with just a few clicks. Third, you've got global scale. Hey, remember that rapid elasticity rule we talked about? Well, this is it in the wild. It means you can get the exact amount of computing power you need, right when you need it, anywhere on the planet. If your app suddenly goes viral overnight, the cloud just instantly scales up to handle all that traffic. And then, when things cool down, it scales right back down automatically.
And last but not least, productivity. Think about all the grunt work IT teams used to have to do, racking servers, patching software, managing these giant physical data centers. The cloud provider handles all of that now, and that frees up all those smart, talented people to focus on what actually matters, building better products and solving real business problems.
So there you have it. The cloud isn't some mysterious place in the sky. It really is the new utility. It's the power grid for our entire digital world. And that leaves us with a really fascinating question to chew on. What's next? If computing became the new electricity, what's going to be the next great utility that comes along and changes everything all over again?